Up, Bean Apple Nation? Joe, John, and Jim, we are back again twice a week for our prediction shows. We got NFC North. If you missed the last two, we did the AFC West and the NFC West last week. So if you're a fan of those teams, go back, check those out. And always make sure that you like the episodes so they get more attention because they deserve more attention. So with that, NFC North today again. So Green Bay, Lions, Vikings, Bears. Oh my. I don't know who we're going to pick to win, but I'm pretty sure it's going to round out pretty easily. So
it's tough.
Yeah. So my big thing is there going to be a second playoff team in here? I think we pretty much know who's taking this division, but I'm curious to see. That was the one thing as I was looking through it. It's like, these teams... Scrappy teams, right? The Bears could be a pretty scrappy team. Vikings could be a scrappy team. Is there a team that's going to have enough? So we're going to talk about that, kind of see what our predictions are as usual. And obviously, drop your comments, drop your thoughts, drop your own 1 through 4 in here. And with that, I say we get started. So let's start the show.
Welcome to the Bean Apple Podcast.
Belichick. I text him all the time. He just doesn't answer.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Somebody had given me 2 tickets to a Jet game, and I had to run into a store. Came out, they broke my window, and they left 4 more tickets.
All right. So, go the same way we did last time. I'll go team by team through this. I'll give our predictions at the end of where our rankings are, and then see who's closest. So I don't think we want to start with Green Bay, right? We probably want to save that one for a little bit because that's a huge spoiler. But what do you guys think? Start kind of in the middle with Minnesota. How does that sound?
We can do that.
All right, so let's go with Minnesota. All right, so obviously they're big. They didn't have, at least in my opinion, they didn't have a huge splash in free agency. They added Patrick Peterson, but he had the worst year of his career last year in Arizona. They also added, the only other person I saw was Sheldon Richardson, who's an okay defensive lineman, kind of bounced around. He was with the Jets, he was with the Browns. Now he's over here in Minnesota for a second stay. Just kind of one of those guys that he's a nice player, but he's not getting you excited. They lost Anthony Harris. They lost Kyle Rudolph. They lost Riley Reif. Those are 3 nice pieces, but Rudolph, I know Jim was excited to get him in New York, but I don't think it's anything that anyone's getting excited about unless it's Thanksgiving. Forget about Rudolph. So the one thing that really stood out to me was the Vikings draft. I think they drafted outstanding. They did trade with the Jets to move back. They acquired 3 extra picks, which I think they struck on at least 2 of them. With that, they got Christian Darrisaw, who shouldn't have been there. They've got Kellen Mond, who's a nice piece behind the quarterback up there.
Kirk Cousins.
Thank you. Kirk Cousins, a nice piece to develop behind him. And you got Chaz Surratt and Wyatt Davis, nice pieces in the 3rd round, nice offensive lineman and linebacker. So we'll see what comes out of that draft. But I think it was a pretty solid draft what they did. Luckily for them, the Raiders draft like idiots and left Christian Darrisaw for them, but that was last week. So go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. So, for me, it's this team is Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins got all this money, got all this praise, double tagged in Washington, trying to work something out. He goes to Minnesota, huge contract, and he's not delivering on that. He's got the talent to do it, but it's not coming together in Minnesota. So he still has Thielen. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got an outstanding running back in Dalvin Cook. All the pieces on offense are there, except for obviously Rudolph is gone now, so that probably throws everything into disarray. But to me, this team is dependent on Kirk Cousins taking a step into that elite level to be able to compete, especially in that division. And then what these rookies have. It was a great draft, like I said, in my opinion. And if these guys can't step in right away, this team's going to be in trouble. So I'll get to my rankings, but that's my key takeaways.
So when I look at the Vikings, they were 7-9 last year, right? Is that right? Yeah, they were 7-9. Yeah. So when will the Vikings like stop underachieving? You know, they got Kirk Cousins forward another year, right? So they drafted his successor potentially with Mond. I mean, you have arguably probably one of the top three running backs in the NFL with Dalvin Cook. Can catch the ball, can run the ball. I mean, he's almost getting to the point where he's I won't say surpassing Derrick Henry, but he's coming really close because his versatility was catching the ball.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson exploded last year. Nobody knew that was going to happen. And, I mean, he had such a great rookie year. And you got Thielen, sorry. You got, Chad Beebe's probably their third. And Irv Smith, he's quite honestly, he put up almost like Kyle Rudolph numbers, 30 to 40, receptions a year, 500 yards receiving, and, 2 and I think 5 touchdowns the last 2 years. I agree, Joe. They struck gold, I think, with Darisaw from Virginia Tech. I thought that was a great pickup. Now, the question is, to me, honestly, their defense. So Hunter had 15 sacks last year, but where are the other sacks coming from? I think that's why they brought over Richardson. I think Richardson will probably get a little bit extra love, even though he was with Cleveland, with playing with a pretty good defensive line. They brought in Peterson. We don't know about the rookies yet because they just haven't played. But my thing is this Kirk Cousins last year? And I will say this. Whoever his agent is, Kirk Cousins should be sending him like a Rolex or something every year. I mean, he's gotten him franchised a couple times in Washington. He got paid in Washington as well. He got paid in Minnesota. And, he's probably going to get paid again. Someone's going to take him. All he has to do is have a similar year from last year. Because, last year, threw for over 4,000, 35 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Why wouldn't you want those numbers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are very good numbers. They just didn't win. He can't win the big game. So is this year they do it? I'm not going to say yet. But I think this is kind of their make or break year because, every year you keep talking about, or we keep talking about, everybody keeps talking about they should be a lot better than they are. But the worst thing that could have happened to them was a guy named Aaron Rodgers decided to come back to the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I like Alex's point up there. At some point, that underachieving, they aren't underachieving. At some point, they are playing at their actual skill level. So
yeah, but boy, I tell you what, by the numbers of their offensive players,
Yeah.
to me, they're underachieving. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Is it Cousins? Is Cousins the problem?
Right.
You look at last year, Cook went off on a couple of those games, right? Unstoppable. Just a bulldozer through everything. And, Jefferson another year and Thielen, like we talked about, playing in the dome. Right. To me, this has to be the year because I think, too, they fool me all the time, right? You think, hey, you look at them and you'll go to place a bet on them and then they blow up in your face. And I remember 2 years ago, they killed me in a big pool I had. I just needed them to cover. And, of course, they get blown out. And, that would have been a nice payoff. But, of course, it didn't go that way. But, yeah, I think they make improvements over last year. But I'll give you the numbers after Joe does this.
All right. So let's jump over to the other middle ground team.
So you're not going to do your picks right here?
Oh, you want to do the picks now?
I think that's what we did last time, don't we?
All right. Okay, yeah.
Well, we talked about their wins, right? We said how many.
So let's.
Yeah, we went to where we thought we were going to go.
All right, hold on, Chicago. Hang on. Let's jump. All right. So for me, Vikings, I have them actually regressing one game. And they are going to come in at 6-11 for me this year. I am not believing in Cousins.
So, looking at that schedule, if you look at that schedule, let's look at it. Cincy, Arizona. Cincy, Arizona, both very winnable. Then you go to Seattle, Cleveland, Carolina. They don't play very strong teams. They're just not. They're playing very winnable games.
Mm-hmm.
I got them much better than that. I got them going 10-7.
So I'm going to split the difference here a little bit. It looks like I agree. I think there's a bunch of games, especially early,
Yeah.
that they win. I mean, I look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First 7 games, there's a chance they win 6 of them.
Yes.
I mean, I think they do compete in a lot of games. I have them in the middle. They're improving by 2. I have them going 9-8.
9-8.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, I think the first half of the season, they can really take off. And then the question is, what are they going to do when they got the Chargers and Green Bay and 49ers,
Right.
back to back to back, even Ravens, could be a 4-game loss there.
Yep.
Right. Then they got Detroit Steelers and then Chicago Rams, Green Bay again. Yeah. I mean, so it's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster for their schedule, but I think they have to, if they don't start out hot, it's going to be over early for them.
Yeah.
So I actually had them when I ran mine. I actually had them going 0-4 before they hit Detroit and Carolina.
Wow.
I think Cincinnati, they can easily lose that with that offense that they've got. Arizona, they've got to travel to Arizona. I know it's a dome game, but still, Arizona's a high-power offense as well. Seattle, good team.
Terrible traveling to the East Coast, though. Terrible.
But it's Minnesota, so it's not really the East Coast.
True. Yeah, true.
It's
It's the Midwest.
It's like
Midwest,
3 states.
yeah.
3
Midwest,
states for
yeah.
here. And then,
3 states.
and then Cleveland. So Cleveland, John, you were high on. You were talking about them as being one of your breakthrough teams.
Very high in Cleveland.
So they could easily start 0-4 before they go to Detroit, Carolina, and then Jim, like you said, I mean that stretch in the middle: Baltimore, Los Angeles, Green Bay, San Francisco.
That's tough.
And then Detroit and Pittsburgh. And then you've got Chicago twice with the Rams and Green Bay in the last 4. Like that Chicago defense, that Rams defense, and going to Lambeau January 2nd, like a dome team going up to Lambeau in the middle of winter, like that's, I'm telling you, recipe for disaster. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
That's right.
But I mean that also they could beat Cincinnati, they could beat Arizona and beat 2-2 going into those 2 soft games and be 4-2 after 6. So could go either way. So all right, but I'm sticking with 6-11. That's where I'm digging in. All right, so like I said, Chicago, the Bears, we're gonna hit them up. Oh, that was bad. Sorry, Bears. All right.
Bears.
All right. So additions: Desmond Trufant and of course the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Massive pieces there. They lost Kyle Fuller. They lost Bobby Massey on the line. 2 pieces that are going to hurt a little bit, and the nice pieces. Their draft got graded really high. And John, you love Justin Fields. Everybody that's watched the draft show knows John's love for Justin Fields. But they also struck gold in round 2 with Tevin Jenkins. That kid is a animal. Like you watch the highlights of him putting players in the friggin' seats. I mean, just offensive linemen that just barrels people. So I think their first 2 picks were really nice. Justin Fields is an upgrade over any quarterback that they have or have had since the creation, I guess. Like the talent level that he possesses, you can't deny it. I don't know if he's going to be a good quarterback, but his athleticism is by far makes him by far a better quarterback than they've had, I guess, since, I mean, he's got Trubisky's speed and running ability, but a much better arm. Right, and just a natural athlete. So, great pieces there. So, a couple of the things with the Bears that stand out to me is how long is it going to take for Fields to get on the field? Right? Will Fields get on the field soon, or will it be later on? I mean, I think it's going to be a waste for him to sit behind Andy Dalton. I don't think if he looks equal to Andy Dalton, just put him in. When we're going through training camp, we go through preseason. If he's out there and he's putting up similar numbers, roll with him and let the kid learn, because all you're doing, we talked about this last year, is you're wasting that defense. That Chicago defense is really strong. And you're gonna waste it with Andy Dalton, and you're gonna put Fields in when it's too late, when that team is 0-4 0-5, 1-5, something like that, and then you're going to throw Fields in. Then he's got to start learning. It just doesn't make sense. If you're going to do it, just do it and let him have at it. So that's the huge things. And with that defense and the start that they had last year with no quarterback, and they were in it. They were in the playoff conversation for the first half of the season. They were playing incredible with nothing. So if Fields gets in there with that defense, with the running game, with Allen Robinson, if Cole Kmet can take that step as a tight end, the number 1 tight end last year, this team could make a playoff push. That's all I got. Go ahead. Take it away.
So a couple things. So
like shocking, interesting, or like out of your mind, interesting.
Just a little shocking. and Alex, I gotta agree with you. Zimmer has to be on the hot seat this year for Minnesota. Absolutely agree. So to the Bears, so who's going to start at quarterback, like you were saying, Joe? Dalton or Fields? I have a feeling you're going to see Fields if the Bears start slow. You got David Montgomery at running back. They signed Damian Williams away from KC, and they still got Cohen. So decent running game. Of course, Allen Robinson is playing on a franchise tag. Yep. Mooney, what a pretty good rookie year considering who he played for last year, and he had like 60 receptions. So rest of the offense, they got Bird from New England, and like you said, Kmet. But Jimmy Graham had 50 catches last year, so not too bad. Their defense is always, full of absolute studs. They probably cover a lot of bad play by that team, and they have. And they're honestly wasting that talent away on D. Mm-hmm. And Santos is a great kicker. I hate to say it, but Santos is a really good kicker. So they got a pretty reliable guy that can kick up there in the Windy City. So, a lot depends on Andy Dalton. He didn't really do much in Dallas last year when he was given the opportunity, and never mind win-wise, but putting up yardage like Dak did, while he was still in there. He didn't even come close to Dak, and again, kudos to his agent because he got paid $10 million last year, and I think $10 million this year. So hey, good for him. A guy who's not going to play very well or very long. Again, I think you see Fields a whole lot sooner than later. They get a pretty ferocious first half of the season. And I think we see Fields sooner than later, like I said, but boy, I hope not too soon, because if he's not ready and looking at some of those defenses they have to go up against, at least the first half of the season, they may be in some trouble.
Yeah, no doubt that like you said, the first half is difficult for them. And, I haven't heard anything about Foles either, right? I mean, have they said anything about, because there's some talk about, there was some talk about him maybe getting traded to Indy, taking over for Wentz. And, Dallas, there's a lot of talk about maybe Prescott's not ready. Maybe his shoulder Philly. Is. No, maybe Prescott's shoulder is more than they're saying. I was reading that today. And, so somebody's got to go. They're not going to hold the three of them. So, I agree, Joe, that, get Fields on as soon as you can. What are you wasting time with either one of the other two? You could flip them somewhere else and get something for them. But, I think that first half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. The first 8, I mean, I got them winning 2 of those. I think they actually take a step back this year. So I have them going backwards this year. Yep.
Okay. So it's interesting. So I think like we were discussing,
right. You don't even know if you want to have him. He was an MVP of the Super Bowl. I don't know what we're doing with that guy.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess special. He asked to be traded too. He did ask to be traded. So,
right. Are you going to play me or not? Right.
Right.
Why not just sit and make money though? I mean, honestly, why not sit? You're not going to see the field.
No, to me, if you're going to get traded, trade me now so I can get acclimated with the new offense. I don't want don't throw me over there unless they're doing that as a way to not have him be able to compete well against them. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
they might end up just releasing him when we get closer to the start of the season as well. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the first three, those you got the Rams, Cincy, and Cleveland at the Rams at Cleveland. I think week 4 you're going to see Justin Fields at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
Is week 4 you got the
That'd
Lions,
be the perfect game. You're right. That'd be
you
the
got
perfect
Lions,
game.
and then you got the Raiders. 2 games to kind of get acclimated, and then Green Bay at home. Tampa, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. That 5-game stretch is going to be brutal. But if they pull a couple shockers out of there, this team could be absolutely turned around because the back half is a lot softer. With you got
The Giants.
Oh, please.
there, you got Minnesota
Please.
twice. I
The
mean,
Giants.
yeah, Giants are an easy win.
Yeah.
there. So
Sure.
anyway, all right. So the Bears.
What's the Giants' record in Soldier Field? I think it's not that bad. They're good.
Well, it's
I can
still
remember winning
Daniel,
some playoff games out there. We're good.
it's Daniel Jones quarterbacking though.
Oh, that's
Anyway, all right.
That'll
so
be a bum
Bears,
fight January 2nd.
8-9 is where I have them sitting.
Mm.
So yeah, they're not making that playoff, but they're going to be right there in a lot of games, and I think they're going to be like last year. That defense is going to surprise a lot of games where we're sitting here going, "How did that happen?" It's because Khalil Mack destroyed the quarterback, and so that's where I'm going.
So, looking at their record last year, they were 500. They were 8-8. They only scored 280 points last year. They scored less than they gave up. I mean, they scored, less than they gave up. They only gave up 298 points. 298. That's friggin' insane.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I was really on the fence with 8 wins or 7 wins. But I'll tell you what, the more I look at that schedule, and I pulled it up again, I have to go 7. Because there's just some games they are not going to win. It may be close. They may be better. But Fields is going to have – I mean, every rookie has issues, except for Justin Herbert last year and Baker Mayfield. It cringes me. Hurts me to even say that. I mean, but he had a pretty good rookie year. So – looking at that, and the Bears are just, I don't know. I'm going to say 7 wins. I won't keep talking about them. 7 wins.
All right, 7 wins.
Right. And listen, there's no guarantee, I don't care when Fields comes in, that he's going to perform.
Right.
He may get smashed in his face over and over and get knocked down and throw the ball away and fumble, and you don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen.
He could
Especially
look like
when
an
you
Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah, he could. You're right about that.
Don't
Ohio,
dare talk about my Justin Fields like that. Damn it.
Yeah, Ohio State's not that far from Chicago, but
I'm buying a Justin Fields jersey.
But you get those muddy Soldier Field games, wet, misty, freezing, ice. There's nothing saying he's going to perform in that. So I have them going backwards, and I have them lower than both of you. I have them 6-11. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. So you said what? 7 and 8, right? Both of you?
No. 7 and 10. Sorry.
Yeah,
No.
8 and 9.
Oh, 8 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going 6.
And Michael's absolutely right up there, even though I don't know who
Okay.
Justin Fields is, but I'm
Who's
still
that guy?
confident.
Who made that comment? Who is that?
I don't know.
Do you follow football?
So, all right. Now let's shoot over along the water line there and stop into Detroit real quick. This
Ooh.
man,
You thought the Bears had a rough schedule.
I'm telling you what,
You
man.
thought the Jets looked bad last year.
It is. It's hard. This is hard to believe that this is going to happen to this team. It's
Special delivery. Hold on. Special delivery.
very
What
nice
is this?
Moscow Mule.
Oh,
I think it's
very
actually.
nice.
I think it's actually. Is this Tennessee?
Yeah.
Tennessee Mule. You know what that
Nice.
is? Annie's specialty whiskey and lime juice, and actually there's a lime. You see the lime floating in there?
I do.
Yeah. Nice. Annie, 2 more, please.
And
Yeah,
ginger beer. And ginger beer. Yeah.
Of
Nice.
course. Hey,
Yeah.
where's the co-host? I mean, I didn't.
Mama sent. They want 2 delivered.
Thank you.
Copper mug as well, please. All right.
Oh
so,
man, this is good stuff.
all right. So the Lions, right? So they obviously big trade with Stafford for Goff. Goff coming into a team with no offensive wide receivers to be seen anywhere. They let everybody go. So yeah, they did add Tyrell Williams, who was, he was okay in San Diego. I can say that he was kind of just whatever in Las Vegas and Oakland. But they also brought in Michael Brockers in that trade. They brought in the great Rashad Perryman, formerly of the New York Jets. And one piece I did like was Jamal Williams to back up Swift, which is he's a nice running back, and they're very familiar with him. I have no idea why he would pick that team to go to, but whatever. I guess he doesn't like winning. Losses, obviously Matt Stafford, Desmond Trufant, Marvin Jones, and the big loss, Kenny Golladay. That wide receiver core is just decimated. I mean, you talk about how many steps back it took in one season is almost, it's hard to believe they couldn't retain a single wide receiver. Hard to believe. They drafted Penei Sewell, which we watched that as that draft room or the war room just erupted like they just won the $1 billion lottery. And later on, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I picked as one of my sleeper receivers. I think he's going to be pretty good out of USC. So he's got to get the ball because there's nobody else to throw it to. So, like I said, the Lions, I don't know how deep we have to go. I mean, Dan Campbell came in talking about biting kneecaps off and getting back up and biting the other kneecap off, just like crazy Adam Gase stuff. That was one of the weirdest press conferences outside of Adam Gase's googly eyes. The second strangest press conference I've ever heard. Biting kneecaps off was weird. Can Goff win? I don't know if Goff can win in this team. I mean, he had a hard enough time in LA with a loaded team, and now he's coming up here and he's got DeAndre Swift. I mean, that's it. So he's going to get really good at handing the ball off. And I mean, I have no idea who's going to take charge of this offense. If it's not Swift, it's going to be really bad. But it's just, this is tough, man. For Lions fans, I know being a Jets fan, it's not easy being a Jets fan, but the Lions, like, I just read that other thing where Megatron will not acknowledge the Lions at the Hall of Fame.
How crazy is that? I read that too.
Yeah.
What is he going to acknowledge? What's he going to talk about then?
Well, he said the players, the coaches that he's played
Ford
with
Field.
And stuff.
I'm just going to talk about the stadium.
Yeah. But he will not acknowledge because of the falling out they had. And I don't remember this, but Barry Sanders was the same exact way, would not acknowledge the Lions when he got into the Hall of Fame either. How do you have two of the best players at their respective positions play for your team and you're bad the entire time and you can't even leave on a good relationship? That's weird. And you can't even fix the relationship. That's really strange. So I don't know what is going on in Detroit. I really don't. It's just, I feel so bad for those guys, and I have no idea how it's going to play out, but it's not going to play out well. Mike, I do like the TJ Hawkinson thing. He had a lot of talent. He just can't stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, he could be one of the top tight ends. But man, he misses a lot of time, but I'm not going to get into it, but I will say it's not going to be pretty when I get to the record. So,
and welcome Trevor Lawrence Simmons. No worries. Air Force Chief of Staff comes first, brother. You know that. All right. So instead of talking about, it's too easy to say how bad the Lions are, I think. Mm-hmm. You mentioned a lot of their younger players. Jeff Okuda's been there a year. Tracy Walker's their D-backs. The longest tenure is 2018 in their defensive backfield. And in a division where you have two, potentially three really good passing teams, depending on what happens in Chicago, boy, you're going to get lit up like a pinball machine. Jared Goff, we'll see what he got. Swift, I really like. TJ Hawkinson, it's funny you say that, Michael, because I also think he's going to have a pretty good breakout year because there's going to be no one to throw to. I think, Swift had like 30 or 40 receptions last year. So Stafford was hurt a lot too. So I think Goff will utilize that because he's not going to have a choice. That O-line is very young. You know, what Jonah Jackson was drafted last year, Penei Sewell this year. You just don't know how it's going to go. But I think they are going to have an extremely hard time. You can bite all the kneecaps you want, but I don't think that's going to help you win many games. You know, maybe in a couple years when some of these guys mature and they figure out who they are. But, I mean, you look at their linebackers, Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins, a couple solid players. Michael Brockers, I mean, he was actually drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals, I want to say. And that was in, 2010, 2011. So you get some age there with some younger guys. And, you know, I don't see this working out well for Detroit. They should probably sell their franchise and, move, to – you know, you could probably move to Kansas and have as many people at the games and have the same type of record. Something new. You know, get out of Detroit for the love of God.
Just move
Even
to Nebraska.
Detroit fans don't want you there.
Yeah. All right.
It's just insane. I mean, it's just, when is this franchise ever going to do anything? Mm-hmm. And the worst part of it is, as I'm cooking turkey dinner, I got to watch this shitbag team play football. I mean, just stop with it. When is it ever going to stop? You know, and I wrote this down in my notes. Stop playing Thanksgiving Day football. Just stop. No one, especially this team. You know, you know what? Maybe we should boycott. Maybe we'll get a Facebook blackout this year where everybody doesn't watch that game and the standings go to shit. You know, maybe we'll all, you know what? Let's all watch the Macy Day Parade. Maybe I'll watch that this year from beginning to end instead of the Lions game. In fact, maybe I'll watch it twice instead of the Lions game.
There you go.
Nothing against the Macy Day Parade, but even that gets old after a while.
They're playing the Bears.
Christ! So, Jesus!
On Thanksgiving,
you know what? Goodell's going to call up Chicago and be like, "Look, man,
we
really need Fields to play today."
Yeah,
I know he has a broken leg, but can you wheel him on the field? You know, not that I wish him a broken leg, because you know my man crush on Justin Fields. So, and I'm still going to say, I meant to say this during the Chicago talk, Jim. He is going to make Giant fans turn into weeping willows in the next couple of years, my friends. Weeping willows. Oh yeah, when Danny Dimes is the backup for Jared Goff in Detroit next year, you're going to kick yourself in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that is going to be interesting to see how he performs. And right, he was right in the palm of our hand. Right?
He's right there.
We could have just said, we'll take him and flip Jones somewhere else during that same draft.
Yeah.
And they said no.
You could have pulled the team we have left to talk about, Green Bay, and just say, hey, we're just going to take him because he's too talented.
Right.
We'll see what Jones has next year. If Jones is great, ship him off like Drew Brees. And, you know, when they had their situation there, who we sticking with? Dimes? All right, Fields, give us 2 first-round draft picks.
Can't wait to talk about the Giants in a couple weeks. Can't wait.
Oh, God. It's going to be fun.
There's going to be a lot. We're going to have to schedule extended time. You better do that now. You better book
we may have to do
extended time now.
Yes, an hour for the AFC East and an hour for the NFC East. Because you know Jim's going to try and convince us about how good the Giants are again.
It's not going to be hard.
About their 6
It's not going to be hard.
Yeah, they're going to win 10% more games next year.
That's right. That's right.
0.6.
10% more on the road, 10% more at home. Yeah. So we didn't give the records yet, right? No, you didn't say what your records were. So we just said, right, obviously I'm same way. They're going the wrong way. I do think I'll probably be higher than you two, I think.
You probably will.
And I'm fine with that. Because I like to try and go against the two of you so we can see who knows what they're talking about. I know everyone's pretty opinionated on who knows the most. But, yeah, that guy with the black. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, there's really nothing to talk about with this team. We know what the situation is. But, I mean, the guy was in the Super Bowl not that long ago, and I think, I think he'll find a way to win a little bit, but not much.
All right, well then let's roll through it. Lions, I have them with the second pick in the draft at 2-15. There's no wins on that schedule. I mean,
2-15.
It's bad.
So, John, are you over or under 2?
I am under.
What?
Oh,
What? I'm definitely higher than both of you.
I am only going with
1
one
and 16. Wow.
because
One.
they're gonna win. Okay, so tell me,
Come on.
this is how they start, real quick: San Francisco, Green Bay, Baltimore. Done. Chicago, Minnesota, Cincy, L.A., Philly. So there's the win. There's the one win. Okay,
That's the second one. All right, go ahead.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Chicago, Minnesota, Denver. Maybe I don't think they're going to be good enough because it's at Denver.
Yep.
Arizona, no way. Atlanta, I don't even think they could beat Atlanta. At Seattle, they get destroyed. And then, so the only way I may say 2 is if Green Bay, if Green Bay finishes where I think they're going to finish, they could potentially win a second game because that's Michael. I'm with you, man. I know Green Bay will dominate, but what I'm saying is the last game of the year, is anybody going to play for Green Bay? So even I think Green Bay, I think their practice squad could probably beat Detroit.
I think they will because I have a feeling they're going to be neck and neck with Tampa for that number 1 seed.
So I'm saying 1 win, and that is going to be I want to call it 2. What did I say? Philly
game.
at home at Philly, because I think they're going to be pretty terrible.
I have them taking one of the 2 that you gave maybes to.
Gotcha.
The Atlanta or Denver.
Yeah.
I have them taking
I
one of
can't.
those. I figure they've split the difference, and they'll take one, and then Philly as well.
So we are kind of thinking the same. And here's the thing. This team could all of a sudden be the Cinderella team, right? They could be the underachievers and gel, all young kids out with something to prove, and everybody plays down to the opponent. Everybody that comes in is looking past them and give up wins, because a lot of teams do that. So I had down Philly as a win. I have Atlanta down as a win. I have Denver down as a win, and I have Cincy down as a win. So I'm going with 4 wins, but I do think, and a lot of it is Goff, and obviously he's won before, right? But I do think teams are going to look past them, and I do think there are going to be some upsets in here where the team does gel. I don't see them going only 1 win. I mean, you're going to win a game by accident. There'll be a late defensive score and get a victory and something ridiculous, a 6-3 game or whatever. But I'm going 4. I'm going 4 and 13.
Yeah. I mean, even the Jets won 2 games last year, so
there you go.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but but they shouldn't have. I mean, let's face it, they shouldn't have.
But they did. They should have.
They should have won. They should have won
3.
3 games.
Yeah,
that's right.
They should have won 3
Right.
games.
It was an accident. They only won 2.
Right. It took the
A
most
bomb.
epic defensive collapse of all time just to make sure they only won 2 games. So, but yeah. All right. So let's
4 and 13.
4 and 13.
And 4
right.
for the win. Yes.
Wow.
I gotta
All
get
right,
one.
so they're going to be bad, is what we're trying to say.
No doubt.
Just so you
No
know,
doubt.
as football fans, just in case you were unaware of how bad they were going to be,
Pretty
not-
terrible.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't realize that. One of the Jets' wins was against Goff.
Yeah, our first win was
They
against
beat
the
the
Rams.
Rams.
I
They beat
forgot
the
about that.
Rams.
No business beating the Rams. and
Thank
they
you,
did,
Alex.
So, all right, so last but not least, we've got Green Bay, right? So this is a team that everybody's going to jump on this team for Aaron Rodgers and who he is and what he can do. But in all honesty, for a second straight year, this team got worse. They didn't do much last year. And this year, who'd they bring in? Randall Cobb? What is he, 56 years old? Like, that's not a big addition. So they lost Corey Linsley, who's now down in Alex's neck of the woods, protecting Justin Herbert. Christian Kirksey, and they lost Jamal Williams, their backup running back. I mean, 3 big players right there that they lost all over the ball, on both sides of the ball. So, and Eric Stokes was an absolute reach in the first round at cornerback. He went roughly 40 spots ahead of where he was projected to be drafted at. That usually doesn't work out very well. And then the one I did like was Amari Rodgers coming from Clemson. a nice wide receiver there, and I am excited to see a Rodgers to Rodgers touchdown, especially since it's spelt the same exact way. That's going to be fun and confusing. They're going to be like, did he pass it to himself? What, yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be a fun one. But I say that, and I say that with all respect for Rodgers, because that's the big question: is the two of them, him and Adams. They're two players that don't want to be there. They're two players that really want to make a statement. What are they going to do this year? That's what I'm waiting to see. They're both going to want to go off. They're both going to, I mean, look at Rodgers was pissed off last year with just drafting Jordan Love. Now he doesn't want to be there. Adams doesn't want to be there. They're going to make their case that whoever needs to pay up to get them at all costs. So they're going to play lights out. I do feel like the team got worse. And next year, when Aaron Rodgers is gone and it's Jordan Love's team, we're going to be talking about a 5-win team. That's how drastic of a drop-off it's going to be, and how bad this team actually is when you look at it. Without Adams and without Aaron Rodgers on that team, they're not a good team. This is not a good football team. So Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and he keeps it afloat, just like Brady did in New England with players that had no business being as good as they were. So I'm not saying they're going to be bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll give you mine in a second.
So Matt LaFleur is 26-6 since he started coaching Green Bay. And I was just going to bring that up. A.J. Dillon, Boston College, the guy's legs are the size of my waist. I mean, the guy's a monster. So I think they got a pretty good backup.
I wish
so,
they used him, though.
Well, and you probably won't see him much again this year with Jones, but that's all right. I think A.J. is going to give him a little bit of help. Yeah. So, I look at the contract that a young man in Buffalo just signed a couple days ago, and he's getting paid 40 plus a year. 40 plus.
Yeah.
So this is an audition for Rodgers and Davante Adams to say, I want 50 a year, and Davante is probably going to want 20, 22. And if they both choose to stay in Green Bay, that's how much it's going to cost Green Bay to keep them. Quite honestly, it's just going to end up that way. I think Green Bay goes to another NFC championship. I don't know if they're going to beat Tampa or not, but I think they're going to be right there again. I mean, that team is the same as last year. Technically, if Rodgers would have crawled into the end zone, looking at Green Bay going to the Super Bowl last year and probably beating Kansas City anyways, because I think their O-line was completely decimated. I mean, I don't think Green Bay has the same type of defense, but they played pretty damn good. I mean, they got weapons all over the place. Robert Tonyan, is he going to be the one, or is it going to be Mercedes Lewis this year? Who knows? I mean, again, they make great, decent receivers look great. It's just what Rodgers does. Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to see Davante Adams. I mean, nobody could stop him last year, and they knew he was throwing it to him. What he had 17 touchdowns last year or something. And if you look at their schedule, it's not a tough schedule, man. I mean, I'm looking at the San Fran game's going to be probably a flip. They play Kansas City, that's going to be a flip.
But they've got some serious games.
I don't see it. I see the Rams, Cleveland, and probably there's Baltimore too. So, but the first half, I'm not seeing it. Not for Green Bay. I mean, we're talking elite team here. I'm not going to say that somebody like Washington is going to even give them a fighting chance. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. I won't say my record yet, but I have them probably being pretty close to the number one seed. I think Tampa's going to have it, to be quite honest, and that's why I'm kind of worried about my pick with Detroit, because I think Tampa's going to be ahead at the last week of the season, and they don't play head to head, so there's no tiebreaker game for them. It's going to be division, and I think they both play in fairly weak divisions. So, but I do think Tampa's going to be the one.
That is curious. How do they not play head to head?
They don't.
They were both first place.
They were.
So you're supposed to play the first place, the equivalent team from each of your divisions. So,
Well,
from
they got
each division within the conference. So why are they playing New Orleans?
because New Orleans came in first.
Did they win the division?
Tampa was
Yeah,
that's
a
right.
New
That's
Orleans
right.
won. New
Yeah.
Orleans won. Yeah.
Yep. Never mind.
Yeah. That's the
Man, they
answer.
lucked out.
I do as well, Alex. I think Green Bay has the second, but I think it's Tampa's. I mean, I don't think Tampa's going to go undefeated. I think that's absurd for anybody. We're not even talking about them, but I think Green Bay is going to be second. There's just no one else in the NFC to me that are on the same level as Tampa and Green Bay.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and we've talked about you've seen over the last how many years with Rodgers, it doesn't matter what running back they throw in there. They pull in guys out of nowhere and they perform. Right? They get these 18-yard runs. He throws to guys that you never heard of. They get open. He puts it right where only they can catch it. Back shoulder, sideline passes. He's throwing the ball, but while the guy's still in his route, it's just, he makes everybody better. He makes the team better. So to me, it's not even about he needs a team of superstars. It doesn't matter. As long as the guy has a uniform on, he's going to get the ball to him. He's going to, he's going to make the play happen. So I agree too. Obviously, they've run away with the division. I think they're right in the NFC game again. I have them, I have them a little better than last year. But to give you a little hint there, and maybe I'll be the over on this game, on this one, as opposed to being on the under. But I mean, he's exciting.
Jim, will you talk to your brother? Seriously, please talk to your brother.
I don't know what he's talking about.
There is only one bye week.
This is why no one.
Yeah,
this is why no one takes you serious, Michael.
But
I mean, think about that comment, though. I mean, Aaron Rodgers
it's
reminds
horrible.
him of Zach Wilson, not Zach Wilson reminds him of Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is striving to be Zach Wilson.
I love it. God, Jets fans.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the Jets fans this year. We're going to win again. It's like when I lived down in Arkansas, and every year is the Hogs year, and every year they won 3 games. They beat Vanderbilt, like Western Lafayette State in Louisiana, and then like they pull off a lucky one against like, I don't know, Texas A&M or something. But
nice. A&M.
Yep. No, I think, Alex, I think there's only one.
Is there one
this week in the playoffs, or this year, just like last year? I thought they lowered it to 1 bye because they expanded the playoffs. So now the number 1 seed gets the bye, and then the other 4 teams play it out.
Right, and they added a week to the regular season
week
too.
to it,
so
yeah.
You can't go that. What are you going to go into March?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but that's okay.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Why not? Right. All right, shoot. What are your numbers there? Give us numbers.
Well, Michael does make a great point. This is the best time to be a Jets fan because it's all downhill.
It really is.
In about 3 weeks. But in about 3 weeks, things start getting dark. All right, so Green Bay.
That's a shame.
I've got them rounding out at 15-2.
Wow.
Rodgers is going to carry it.
I thought, I'm going to have to rewind the tape here. I thought he said he knocked them all over the place. They're not that good. And
that's what I heard.
I thought, I don't know. It's my. Yeah.
I said the team's not that good. Aaron Rodgers is, just like Brady was into it. Yeah, that team without Aaron Rodgers, I believe, is a 5 or 6 win team. With Aaron Rodgers, it's a 15 win team. He is that good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I almost have to agree with you there. I don't have him going. Agree partially. Hold on. Agree.
He partially. Almost has to.
He almost has to agree with you.
Almost. I have to say that. So I don't want people thinking that I do agree with you, Joe. That would be insane.
A Pats fan agreeing with a Jets fan.
I know. Well, just this time of year. So I have them going 14-3. I didn't realize, God, for whatever reason, I must have missed that Baltimore game there. But again, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's on another level. That team's on another level. Matt LaFleur is going to have 40 wins, in the regular season, I think, in 3 years, which is pretty insane. And not 40. Hold on. 10. What's that? 26. Yeah, 40. 40 wins if they win 14 games this year. So, I mean, just an incredible record in 3 years. So, and I see him vying for the NFC Championship. I don't know if they can beat Tampa, but boy, it's going to be fun to watch again. That's for damn sure. If it ends up like that.
Yeah, and don't think for a second that that Rodgers isn't thinking about every night when he lays down, he should have ran that ball in.
Yes.
Every game he's going to play from now on is going to be, if it's not open, I'm taking off.
I'm running.
I'm getting every yard I can.
Yep.
I'm winning every game. I should have been in the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it. He jammed that ball into Devontae, into the goal line, and lost it. He blew it. He blew it. And to me, he has to turn it around this year just for that reason. And
it has to haunt you, right? I mean,
oh my God,
to be the quarterback, the MVP, and you're 4 yards away on second down, and third down, you had 2 shots from the 4, and you could have ran both of them in. He has to go back and watch that and be like, what? Why didn't I pick up 2 yards each time? And just
that's right.
I can't
see now. I understand why the leadership in Green Bay didn't want him.
Because
terrible.
He blew it.
Can't count on him.
No,
he
he's
has
unreliable.
He is 1 for 5 in championship games. So
and he's only won 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he has one.
He has one. You are correct.
So so we got a tie here.
Uh-oh.
What did you say, John?
14-3, sir.
That's not what I said. 15-2.
Oh,
ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
15-2.
Nice.
I got Kansas City, and I think there'll be another game in there that'll be a toss-up, a last-minute turnover, lose the game. Could it be the 49er game? Maybe. Ravens in there. Yeah, there's a couple. There, even the Rams. Could somebody just upset
Browns.
them? Yeah, could
Minnesota always beats them though. Minnesota always beats them every year. It's kind of like the Patriots and
even
Dolphins.
Back to Brett Favre when he was there.
Yes.
They would play in Minnesota. They couldn't win.
They couldn't win in Minnesota for whatever reason. Minnesota and just like you, Jim, I got Kansas City. I got a Minnesota game, and then I get another one like a San Fran. Maybe like a Cleveland. They slip up. Baltimore. I think they're better than them. It's just when you start going on the road, and if I remember right, they go to Baltimore and San Francisco. That could be potentially pretty tough. But they also got the Rams too, so you don't know how the Rams are going to be. But
get some bad weather game or something, and slop, snow. Who knows?
Yep, and those are my 3 losses. So,
all right.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch up there for sure. I can't wait to see what Rodgers is actually going to do. I mean, this is going to be his opus, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't talk all of what, I guess, lack thereof speak, but you can't act this way and not ball out. I mean, he's got to just light it up, make his MVP year look like somebody's regular year type of thing. He has to play that way. That's kind of where it's stacked right now. So we'll see.
So Joe, go ahead, John.
But no, I was just going to ask, do you potentially see this being one of the worst divisions in football?
Outside of the NFC East?
But I mean, seriously, I honestly think the AFC South is going to be, especially with Wentz going down. But I mean, this could potentially be one of the worst divisions in football, depending on how Minnesota is. I don't think the Bears are going to be very good. It's just going to be. I think it's going to be very ugly football.
Historically, if you measure them all up, this has to be traditionally one of the worst.
Yes.
Right? I mean, as a whole. I mean, you'll have one team that'll be good, the other 3 are just in a cellar.
Right.
They're never, is how many times are they over 500?
True.
Yeah.
One or two, maybe.
You did have, a couple fluke years with it was a couple years ago, well, not a couple, quite a bit, 12 years ago probably, when the Bears went to the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and Devin Hester took that opening kickoff back like 101. Yeah, with sexy Rexy Grossman there quarterbacking it.
How did that happen? You think about it. How the hell did that happen?
Him and Kyle Orton led that team to the Super Bowl against Peyton
gross.
Manning. So they had that, and then the Dante Culpepper years up in Minnesota, they were pretty competitive.
Randall Cunningham, he went 14-2 that one year up there. So
yeah,
right. I mean, he had Chris Carter and Moss. Dante had, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they were lighting it up, and Peterson and
AP. I mean,
Adrian, right?
yeah, it was a
I mean, they had
hell
a
of a
team.
team that they had,
People eaters,
but
Yep.
they
purple
just
people eaters.
can't
Couldn't get
ever
over the hump.
win.
So what did you have, Joe? What was your 1 to 4? Obviously, Green Bay.
Green Bay
What was
won.
2?
2. The
Really?
Bears.
Okay, that's
8 and
different.
9. Minnesota
Mini,
6 and
yep.
11. Lions 2 and 15.
And John, what'd you have?
Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, and Detroit.
So you're the same as me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I had too.
Nice.
All right. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up the NFC North. So we'll be back with the AFC North on the other side.
Which should be a good one.
That's
going to be
a fun one to break
That's
down.
going to be a fun one. That's going to be kind of tough.
Yeah. Well,
I'm looking forward to that one.
We go from this division to that one with a Bengals team that's no longer a laughing stock in football. I mean, that's going to be interesting. We have to see if Justin wants to come on, talk about his Bengals.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me reach out. Let me reach out to him.
But yeah, definitely going to be a fun, hard fought division again, the NFC North. But yeah, we'll do it again on Thursday. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for chatting. Alex, Michael, thank you for always showing up. Travis, if you're still here, please, if you're watching this afterwards, hit that subscribe button. Please continue to help us grow. Set that bell to all and make sure you come back Mondays and Thursdays as we continue to ramp up for the season. So with that said, for John, for Jim, I'm Joe. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Later.
Yep.
Peace.